Ulonga tabati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá inú tó yẹ kó jẹun lọ fi bí pa ọba tálá ọba takuntakun Ṣàngó Èṣù Ògún Ọya Ọ̀ṣun kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Lafayette, peace and power family. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bemi, and we're back tribe for another live stream after a little short, small hiatus, man. We're back in the building. So I want to give a huge shout out to all the new channel subscribers. Shout out to all the new channel members. Shout out to the Patreon community, man. Patreon been tearing that thing down, burning it up, burning it down, left, right, up, south, east, west, you name it, boy. We just finished a very powerful call with our matriarch, Yeye Oshun Bumi Olafemi came and burned that thing down in the Patreon community. So that was another amazing experience. But before we get into tonight's topic of conversation, family, I want to give a huge rise in power to a very powerful brother that, I believe he suffered a health situation on the portal, actually, Lionsgate portal, 8-8, and then our brother decided to transition, fully into the realm of the ancestors on this past Friday. So I want to give my condolences to the family of Brother Adeyemi Tyree King. I want to give a powerful prayer and uplifting to his children, young King Divine, young Queen Ma'at, and the other young King Aminta. I want to give my sincerest condolences to your entire family, the entire King family. Brother Tyree Adeyemi King was a very powerful brother, man. We had a lot in common, had a lot of alignment. Brother was there for me in a lot of different ways, and I want to make sure that I pay respect properly and to, uplift his family and his spirit, in the transition to the ancestors, because the brother is responsible for some very key guests who've been on the show. And he's definitely been responsible for a lot of divine alignment for my journey on and off the air. So definitely want to start the show by, big up in my brother. Travel safe, bro. And keep doing what you do, even in the ancestral realm, brother, because we love you. We appreciate you. And in the words of the great Machiavelli, the Don, a.k.a. Tupac Amaru Shakur, 21 gun salute, my brother. With that, peace and blessings, man. Appreciate you for joining us today. How you doing?
I am good. I am most definitely good. Sharing that space. Ashe to the divine that is risen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ashe. Just some deep inhalations on that one. Like, really. All divine gratitude, the light that lives on within him, through his children, most definitely. Which we definitely will speak about. They're burning towards him. I'll say this part. I was sitting with self, and I did hear there's something that he enjoyed with the daughter. That she was laughing. There was some type of joke that they had with each other, and he gave me this this inkling of it, and it was just like really beautiful. I was just like, okay, so I definitely need to sit with your energy and see that what you want to share with her. But most definitely, I am looking forward to having time with you. And be able to, speak that message, bring that forth, because it's absolutely, it was just really beautiful, because, we go about our day. We do go about our day. But yeah, he resonated with me very highly. And of course, before then, I saw him at the crossroads, which was, it's a gift. It's beautiful. I give all divine gratitude that I can be a keeper of souls, respectfully. Those that have transcended and those that are walking amongst us. You know what I mean? This part. So most definitely. Gratitude.
No, I appreciate you. And listen, before we go into this powerful conversation, because I know it's going to be powerful, I was just outside in between calls. Just finished one, jumped on another, and I was walking my dog, and I saw the sky god, the king of the big drum, the big royal drum. Lightning Kabiesi, Oba Koso, Baba Shango was out there throwing some bolts, man. I couldn't help but to think about, what those were related to in regards to today being Ose Shango Oyade. And then I look on here and log on, and you wearing the colors of Yeye Oya. So, divine alignment at its finest is what it looked like to me. So with that, I definitely want to get into these invisible veils, the battle between realities, the battle between chakras, and all that's going on now, because there's a lot going on in the world, man. So I definitely want to get your take and get your perspective in regards to what is going on, why it's going on, and how we can maneuver through it, and how can we work with the veils, and the chakras, and all this divine alignment that's happening right now.
Well, all divine gratitude. I did ring my bell, so definitely the loves. Hello, ring your bell, honey. Put your bells in the chat. That is just the alerting of the spirit realm. Just hello, knocking on the door. We just knocking on the door. All divine gratitude for those that are on the call now and will be later. The depth of this is with the veils, okay? Because let's think about a veil overall. What does a veil do? It covers, okay? It covers. Oftentimes we are sitting in that state of operating automatic pilot, not realizing that we're covered in some capacity, all right? So I would like if Arisha would definitely put the link in the chat to some Hertz music, okay? So if you can, when you come in, go ahead, put your bell in the chat, and if you can, just go ahead and play that music in the background. And it's just to kind of lighten our energetic field, our internal field, so we can move properly through, as you can hear me speaking, that sort of thing. And if you feel a little shift in your energy, then most definitely take heed to that. Go ahead and get your journals out, your notepads, that sort of thing. What I'm going to do is speak about the depth of those invisible veils. Oftentimes we can, when we study ourselves to be approved, let's put it that way, we can go beyond the veils. So when someone makes a transition, that is going into another realm, another portal, another dimension. It's going beyond the veil of our own sight line, all right? What we need to do is be able to garner that. So there's a lot of people making a transition, okay? And we're just speaking about a physical transition. There are people walking around, souls, walking around making transitions, manifesting throughout their day, okay? So you're making a transition, whether you're going through a tower moment, you're changing locations, jobs, this, thought patterns, mind. All of that is a movement that is you replacing certain things and being able to remove the veil from your eyes, okay? This is the biggest thing. And all of that is connected through the source. So some of you have heard me speak about this before. I like to make a decree. That source, of course, source is that breath of life. Doesn't matter what spiritual genre, I'm going to call it a genre, because right now capitalism is everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in religion or in spirituality. The depth is we are all vibrating based on the source, which is the breath of life, okay? So we need to be able to tap into the breath of life no matter what we're doing, how we're doing it, the thought pattern. And we do this so naturally because it's been given as a gift. We don't actually pay attention to it. But it is one of the sources to allowing us to move through our veils, okay? The different veils. So now, I won't get ahead of myself. I was going to jump ahead. You want to be able to think about your functions and your chakras. If you don't know your chakras, we're going to kind of go through the chakras as well. So I'm going to intertwine them. I'm a weaver. That Sybil, I like to weave, and I do so, honey. So this is something that I've sold myself. I'm a weaver, not just in a physical sense, but also a spiritual sense. Oftentimes, women hold that position of being a weaver and don't realize that they are. And men can hold that too. And sometimes, depending on your chakra alignment, you will be, let's just say, you won't get the stitch quite right. All right. So, if you will take that time, if you haven't already, just kind of play that music in the background. I want to do some 4x4x4, and it's breath work, okay? Using that prana, being able to hold the fingers completely out like this. We're going to take the index thumb, and we're just going to cover over your nose, your nostril, okay? It doesn't matter which hand you decide to do, cover over that nostril. You're going to inhale deeply for 4, a count of 4. So you're going to inhale, and you're going to inhale it, inhale. Then you're going to take the opposite finger and you're going to cross over. So you're going to hold it for 4, and then you're going to exhale for 4, okay? I'm giving you this now because as we move through, I'm going to tell you a certain method, or I'll say, okay, breathe now, okay? This sort of thing. That's why I asked for the pen and the paper, and we're going to start with the root chakra. Our root chakra. Let's think about the root chakra. That's the earth, right? So I'm going to jump in and out, so you got to be able to follow me. If you don't, it's okay, because y'all can play it back, that sort of thing. All right, this is the earth, okay? This is the earth. Our root chakra is at the base of us, right? That's the base. So we're sitting right now on our root chakra. So with our root chakra, we want to do a mudra, okay? So our mudra, we're going to hold our mudra out like this, okay? And usually, atypically, you see people putting that mudra right on their knees. So you're going to go ahead and hold that mudra, all right? It is the color red. You're going to hold the mudra. You're going to inhale deeply, hold the mudra. And you're going to inhale from your core. Then hold at your chest. Then exhale, release slowly, okay? And you're going to picture the color red. All right, so that music should be going. You're going to inhale, hold, and you're going to exhale, release slowly. We're going to work through that root chakra. So now with the root chakra, we're talking about the grounding, the focus, your stability, your safety. Most oftentimes, it's more related to, those sexual preferences, just a hot mess, all of that. A hot mess, or you're in survival or fear mode, angry, anxiety. These are usually the areas that we're talking about. So our foundation, number 1. So go ahead, write that down. Number 1 is our foundation, our base. That's where we're going to deal with the cause and effect, so to speak. You know what I mean? The cause and effect, the knowing of thyself. You being either in a high maintenance state of mind, or you being in a poverty state of mind. All right. I said a lot there, so I need you to just digest that. First and foremost, take it to the source, okay? And this is not just for me. That's for anybody that you're listening to. Once you listen to them, you want to be able to hear. So you also need to inhale deeply, take your time, hold that breath. Remember that mudra? And exhale, release slowly. Everything that vibrates with you, whether it be good or bad, I need you to write that in your notes. This is how you start to create your own identity in divine balance. This is you moving through the veils, okay? So that's the root chakra. Now we're just dealing with the root chakra. Now, the depth of this, stay with me. The depth of this is your conscious, unconscious, and subconscious mind acting in real time. All right. So your root chakra, you want to make sure that you understand that your root chakra is that intention. Okay. That's that intention point of your consciousness. Okay. That's your intentions. Atypically, we move through that on a day-to-day basis all the time because we're sitting on it. That's the other thing. We're sitting on it. So you want to make sure that if you are vibrating in an area, in balance or out of balance. In balance is you're grounded, you're focused, stability. You're not in survival mode, which is out of balance. Fear, anger, this sort of thing. You need to be the judgment, have judgment over yourself, jurisdiction. Okay. This will help you move to the next veil, okay? Most people get stuck in one veil, and I'm going to show you how they all connect. Remember, the root chakra is that intention of consciousness, okay? Remember, write 4 by 4 by 4. That's your breath work. Hold it. Exhale, release slowly. The parts of the body, of course, is that tailbone. We already know we're sitting on it, okay? If you take it to the Hertz music, that's why we have the Hertz put in there. Now, atypically, you can listen to Hertz and you can go through all 7 chakras. There's actually 14 chakras, okay? But we're not going to go that far. You will take it and you will sit through all of that. The sounding of that root chakra, okay, is so if you look at any, doing your research, if you look at any of these diagrams or things of that sort, or even sitting in the temple, you will see so the depth, you need your breath, okay? This is why I'm giving it to you. So LAM, okay? Alam. The more you do it, the more you will get used to it. And you want to be able to breathe all the way through and let it all the way out, like you're on your last breath. I'm telling you this because it will help you ground yourself. It will help you open yourself up more, okay? So let me go to the next one, all right? So number 2, we're dealing with our cycle of consumption, all right? Which is our sacral chakra, all right? So our sacral chakra, you got to put your thumbs together, all right? And you're going to hold it like right here. So this is a step up from the root chakra, and it's orange. And so you're going to go and place it right there. You're going to place it right at below the navel, but above the, God, I can't even think of the name of the root chakra. I didn't want to say, that organ. Let's put it that way. All right. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Okay. Right here. That is orange. That is your mudra. Okay. Now the depth of this, let's talk about the consumption. Okay. Now this is where most of us hold a lot of trauma, where most of us hold a lot of emotional baggage. Having it in balance, though, you have that emotional intelligence. You have creativity. If you don't, then you lack these things, all right? So we're talking about, when I say consumption, because most people think just eating, all right? So we're talking about not just what we eat, but we're also talking about what it is that we hear and what it is that we see. So that's consumption of, that's food, people, places, and things, all right? That's also your thought process. That's a thought, all right? So thoughts can also be something you consume, whether it's a song you're playing over and over and over, you're actually eating of that particular vibration. That's why we're having the music in the back, or I should say the hertz in the back. There's no words to that, all right? So you got to center in yourself. So while you're inhaling, so we're going to go again. So 4 by 4 by 4. Hold the sacral chakra right below, okay, the navel. Breathe. Inhale deeply. Inhale deeply. I'm going to give you a little time. This time, I want you to close your eyes, all right? You're going to picture the color orange. You're going to hold that mudra, and what you're doing is you're breathing the intention into your hands, your fingertips, okay? In that mudra. Breath work, focus the self. You want to ask the self, where am I sitting? Okay, this is passing through another veil. Where am I sitting in my sacral chakra? Does my sacral chakra need that healing? And if that healing, what is it healing from? Is it healing from emotional trauma? Is it healing from that particular lack of self? So you want to be able to tap into yourself. You're moving through another veil. Oftentimes you will feel turbulence when you go from one chakra to the next chakra. All right? But in balance, you will be able to adapt to it. You'll be able to have balance with it. You'll be able to openly move through the positions that you're in or would be in. Okay? Now, this word, we want to say, how would I put this without saying, no, I'll put it another way. Let's speak about the vibration of the hertz, okay? So if you do 532, 432, now I'm shooting out numbers. This is up to you to go research these, okay? But we have a general one going through that touches all of these points. So while you're sitting in that vibration, we want to tap into a volume. So this is a sound, okay? Some people said volume, but it's VAM, okay? This is the sound. You can literally look this up and play this. So if you are having a issue with your sacral chakra, hold that mudra. Be accountable for yourself. Play that hurts in the back and say that over and over. Allow yourself to get on your last breath. It's going to bring alignment because our let's call it our kundalini spools out our backside, right? Out our back. So the more we align ourselves with our breath, with intention, because everything that we're doing, we're placing intention into it, okay? So in that, we're seated on the root chakra. Now we've moved into the sacral chakra, which is our hips. So I do deal with people for stretching and athletics, whether they be runners, people who do yoga, Pilates, weightlifting, or just sitting still all the time. We hold a lot in our hips. Okay. This is going to work for you when you're dealing with that. Now, it's not the only thing you're going to do, because you need to do some hip exercises and open up those abductors and things of that sort. But this will help after you've done your workout. This will help even if you're not doing your workout right now. Everything is in stages. And this particular chakra of your sacral chakra is I feel. So that's why, if you think about it, why is it that people would have emotional imbalance, or they would have emotional intelligence? Why would they have a lack of control? Why are they overheating? It's so close to the root chakra, going right up to the sacral chakra. And that's where women and men hold a lot. And that is the same area where sexual intercourse happens. And oftentimes, let's just say for a woman, you're literally holding on to whomever you have had intercourse with. So you're not only holding on to your particular trauma or trials, tribulations, now you're also holding on to whoever you slept with and whoever they slept with, and so on and so forth. So this is how you would look at yourself. If you look at yourself from the root chakra and what that means and how that vibrates, then you go up to your your sacral chakra, what that means to you, how you feel in it. Oftentimes you can test yourself like this. If somebody walks in a room and you have a certain vibration with that person, and let's just say it doesn't feel good, judge it by where your body tells you and sends out an alert. That's an area that you need to go ahead and cleanse. You need to nurture. You need to take care of thyself with that. Oftentimes you can't just verbally just spit it out without adding application. Okay, so we're doing good, right? Please put it bells in the chat if we're doing good. So we're at that sacred chakra. So that's the consumption. What are you consuming? What are you consuming? Who are you consuming? Because we can do that too. And oftentimes we will carry that over. Okay. So our sacred chakra, our root chakra is I am. All right. Our sacred chakra is I feel. All right. Now, I need you to do that breath work again. All right. Because we're about to increase our breath work. So 4 by 4 by 4. Prana. Okay. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale, release for 4. All right, I need you to do it again for yourself. Close your eyes. Picture that color orange. Speak to thyself. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And cross over for 4. All right? Staying mindful of your breath. Now, the part of what we need to remember, our root chakra was the intentions of the consciousness, okay? So our sacred chakra, what do you think our sacred chakra is? We're dealing with conscious, unconscious, subconscious. All right. Tell me. Yes, most definitely, beloved. You have to scan the body. Yes, exactly where you feel it. Our sacred chakra is a combination, okay, of the unconscious and the subconscious. Think about it. That is the area where we hold all of the traumas, the things that we've gone through. And it's also the vital point of where, if we've had intercourse, we go past the root chakra and we settle right there in the sacred chakra. All right? So put that on the side. So you remember that for yourself, honey. That's the unconscious state and the subconscious. They're doing a dual thing. So you'll get to see what I mean by there's a battle with our veils oftentimes. And most time we just think about the veil we're putting over our eyes, whether it be glasses, there's veils within yourself that you need to be able to pull back the veil, see it, explore it, and heal it, move through, okay? So that's I feel. Now we're going to move into our total fire, what I call the fire point. I was looking for my crystal, but I can't find my crystal. Okay, it's okay. We're going to move into that particular fire point, which would be our solar plex. Okay, so our solar plex, you're going to put your hands together, our mudra. You're going to put your hands together and you're going to cross your thumbs over top of your hands. Okay, so you cross them over. And that's going to come right above your sacred chakra. So now you're underneath your heart. Okay, this color is yellow. Cross those fingers straight on over. This color is yellow. Now, when we're talking about the fire part of this, the solar plex, watch the veil now, because we just came out of the sacral chakra. So if our sacral chakra is not healed, we're not moving, what are we going to do with this next one, which is yellow? I mean, think about it. Most of us know the color yellow. It's bright, it's vibrant. We think about Oshun, the sun outside, it's beautiful, this sort of thing. That is our law of polarity. Real talk, in real time. That's more like our law of polarity, okay? And in that, we're talking about that mudra that we need to hold right under our heart, but right above the area that you hold most of your emotional feelings there. Most people think it's your heart. We're going to get to your heart. We're going to speak about that. So when we're talking about our solar plex, polarity, we're talking about personal power, our will, self-esteem, us being able to deal with our ego, our totality, owning it, our career, and most of the attachments that is external of us, okay? Because our solar plex is that inviting. It's like the sun. The sun comes out and shines. The sun gonna shine anyway. So it comes out. It's gonna show itself. That's the area where we come out and we show ourselves. That's the area that moves our will, okay? So let's say a healed solar plex would be in balance. It would have its, better yet, its own ownership. It owns its own totality. All right. If not, you're dealing with the imbalance of not knowing who you are, straight confusion, listening to every Tom and Harry. You get what I'm saying? You being tossed to and fro, as they would call it. The wind change and you forget exactly what it was that you were meant to do. All right. So that's your solar plex being out of line, out of balance. It being in balance is you owning your totality. You being able to have that self-esteem that will help see you through. Now, the depth of that too, now that's the area of our stomach. Okay, so we're talking about that gut area. In our gut area, what that's like another brain, let's put it that way. What else are we doing there? We're consuming. So watch how each one of these now, again, remember, we're moving from one veil to the next veil to the next veil. And we have to go from our root all the way up to our crown, right? The war becomes a battle when you don't take care of the previous shocker. Follow me. All right. Let's have a breath. Let's do a breath work. Now, the breath work is going to start to change now. Okay. Let's try it one last time with 4 by 4 by 4. Go ahead, put your mudra. Okay. Your mudra is going to go right underneath. I know you probably can't see me, but right underneath that heart. The mudra. Right. The mudra is Ram. So, of course, people will say Ram. But when you're saying it, okay, along with your hertz, it's Ram. And you're going to open up your mouth and totally project it. So R-A-M, okay? And you're going to hold that mudra. You're going to think about yourself. As you're sitting there, again, you're taking notes. You're going to take notes of yourself like you're doing right now. So you got to be honest with yourself. Am I really standing in my power, like standing on my square, being seated on my throne and ruling from here? Do I have my own self-control, self-esteem in order? Do I realize who I am, what I am, how I'm operating? Do I take ownership of who I am? Because that's another thing. Oftentimes you will have, we've all moved through the stage where you're just moving, automatic pilot. But you don't have no ownership of it because something happens, and then you go, "Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't mean that." So there's no ownership of it. So in this particular state of your solar plex, now it does align, of course, with the stomach and your pancreas. Now this is how one, when you start to sit with yourself, when you start studying yourself, you can't help but to open up even greater. You can't help but to open up greater because one thing leads to the next thing. That leads to the next thing. And this is very much the area of you tapping into your chakras, okay? Creating your own identity in divine balance with your chakras, moving through your veils until we get to our crown, all right? So our solar plex is the state of I do. Okay, because that's our willpower. All right, most definitely seated in power, always, always. And you want to make sure that you move through that. So the organs, okay, that's our stomach, and of course our intestines, pancreas, this sort of thing. It's real time when you tap in. For those herbalists out there, for those women that are really tapping in, men and women, pardon, tribe. Men and women that are really tapping into the body will speak to you, literally. Someone of an external force could literally speak to you and you feel something in your body, pay attention. You're literally being told in the spirit realm what's going on and how that person makes you feel. If you start operating, it is paying attention to your body, okay? So we've done our root chakra, all right? We've done our sacral chakra, our solar plex. Now we're going to our heart chakra, okay? So we're turning it this way and we're covering the heart. Usually, atypically, you extend the arm, okay, to the lower part of your body, but your heart chakra. Now it's moving into the heart chakra. I like to call this like the bridge, okay, or the connection. Um, Oftentimes, people would say that it is the law of correspondence, okay? So with it being the law of correspondence, I mean, just really just think about it, okay? I got one for you. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. That part right there. The heart, it's literally in the middle of the crown and the root. So our heart chakra, I need you to go ahead, take that heart chakra. It's the color green. Take your mudra, the color green. This time, all right, we're going to go 4 by 8 by 4. So inhale deeply, color green, color green. Inhale deeply for 4, cross over. We're going to hold for 8. Exhale, release slowly for 4. All right? I want you to do that again. This time, close the eyes. Inhale deep. Tap into the music that's playing in the background. I'll lower my voice, take some of the potency out of my voice and just slow it down. I want you to feel divine source working in you, through you, to you, around you, by you, and for you. Holding that mudra. This is the element of air. You being in divine balance is your heart is open. You have that serenity, that trust of the self. You have tolerance of yourself, so giving yourself grace. That as above, so below. That is within, so without. That's source. Breathing in. The heaven is the mind, and the earth is the body. You're right here at the heart. And exhale, release slowly. Now, if you don't have a balanced heart, we're dealing with that narcissistic attitude, feeling lonely. I mean, you don't have to actually be evil or let's just say jealous or envious. You literally can have loneliness. Being alone and having loneliness is 2 different things. It's just being objective and owning your totality. Remember, we're moving from one veil to the other. So each time that you allow yourself to move through, completely through a root chakra, owning each aspect of it, releasing that which doesn't service that area, you are able to bring up and move through to the next veil. All right? This is the invisible life that is happening on everybody that is walking this earth in the physical casing. That's the invisible life, the invisible reality that's happening from veil to veil, okay? With that, let's go here. If you're out of balance, loneliness, narcissism, jealousy, envy. Now, when you tap in, because even if you've had these traits before, you can heal for them. Now you're more inner and understanding of what that looks like. Or if you've dealt with somebody that have had that, okay? You have the inner and understanding. You can identify that, all right? This is where you start to, because you're clearing yourself, moving from veil to the next veil, you will be able to see these colors. That's another reason why I'm telling you about the colors. You'll be able to see a person's aura, their energetic field. You'll be able to see these colors and what people are resonating in because you're allowing yourself to move through your own veils, okay? So a critical person, could literally be, oh, I love everybody, but you critical. How you love everybody? How are you critical? You're even critical of yourself, but you don't say that out loud. This part, all right? So the heart chakra is I love. And most people will say, okay, yam. Okay. It's the source of this when you're doing your mudra and you're sitting again, just like let's say our solar plex was ram. Well, the heart chakra is yam. 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 You have to allow your body to project. And yes, you're going to sound crazy. And I did this on purpose. I'm not going to say the other ones, right? Not starting from the beginning. Now we're starting to go up into a different state. So it's going up into a different state. It's going to start to feel and sound a different way. All right? So remember that. Take that note. YAM. That's what you're going to do. You're going to sound. You're going to start to speak to yourself in a language that most of us enter and understand speaking in tongues, right? We enter and understand speaking in tongues. And with us enter and understanding speaking in tongues, this is also another area of where we can sit and sup with the self without adding words to it, okay? Which is a big thing. Most of us don't enter and understand, but I'm sure the tribe does. The tribe gets it, okay? Or if you don't, you're willing to try, all right? So this is going to affect the body part. We're talking about our blood system, how we flow here. The pineal, not the pineal gland, the lungs. We're going to deal with the lungs in this area, our chest area. So it's the heart chakra. So certain things, when I have been feeling, and not just me, but when I've been working with clients and maybe they start to feel a certain way, because we don't just do the physical part of like exercise and yoga, Pilates, all that other good jazz. I tap into the meditation state. And the meditation is because we need to bring the body, we need to align the body, okay? So even if I'm not feeling good or something just really isn't moving, but I feel it in my chest, I'll go ahead and do that mudra. I'll hold that mudra. I'll slow myself down to catch that breath. I'll see that color green. I'll vibrate and focus on that. This is where you have to tap in. Yes, beloved. Yes, most definitely, beloved. You do have to tap in. I appreciate the fact that the tribe has inner and understanding. All I'm doing is bringing even more light to it, just putting that light on top of light so that you can expand that light and show other people how to do the same. Now, the final part of the heart chakra, what do you think this is? Okay, when I say, what part of the consciousness is it? Is it the conscious, unconscious, or the subconscious? Tell me in the chat. Which one is it? What do you think? All right? Tell me. Come on, tell me.
Subconscious?
Huh?
Conscious?
Yes, you got it. Hey. Yes, the conscious state. Most definitely it's the conscious state. Usually it's the first place that all of us start vibrating. You know what I mean? We literally think, oh, or you get the flutters. But most people get them confused because you get flutters from your solar plex and you get it from your heart chakra. You get the thump from your root chakra. Okay, because the root chakra is the solar plex holds that particular side of entry. All right, so okay, you're absolutely right. The heart chakra, the mudra. Okay, remember 4 by 8 by 4. So we're deepening, and you have to allow yourself. Okay, I remember so many times people are just like, I sound stupid. I don't want to be sounding like, but after they started to do it, they were going past the area of which they thought they would never be able to. Meaning, because it does still take breath work. It's no different than being a singer. You got to have good breath work. You got to be able to move that breath up and down in a certain way to, speak out or to be able to say or sing a certain melody, right? All right, so we're on number 5, okay? So let me recap that. So you already got the heart chakra, right? The heart chakra, we're talking about that's that bridge, um, the law of correspondence. That's the area that you are going to deal with, you being able to stand on, no, let me not say stand. Let me just use as above, so below, okay? You're going to be able to think the same things that are going on here, you're going to be able to balance it with your root chakra, okay? These are the key points. It's not like the in-between don't matter, but these are the key points, and usually that's where we get attacked first, okay? Just saying. The root chakra, the sacral chakra and the solar plex, these are holding grounds, okay? Now we're going to move up. So when we move up, let's move up to the throat chakra. All right. So this is one that oftentimes people always get in trouble with. Let's just keep it 100. So the throat chakra.
Now, look, I don't want to interrupt, but I do want to know. So, what do people be doing when they get in trouble with that throat chakra? Because I've been seeing a lot of power of the tongue, or Ofo Ashe, manifesting in real time lately. I mean, real time lately. So, how would people be getting in trouble with that throat chakra?
Well,
asking for the people in the back. That's all.
Yes. Okay. Well, this is a good question because real talk, getting in trouble. Okay. What I mean by getting in trouble, 2 things. All right. There's 2 sides of that. Because we're going back from, just think about, we went from one veil to the next veil to the next. Now we're in the 5th veil. Let's just say that, even though it's the chakra, the root chakra, the throat chakra, because we have not, and I'm just going to say a collective, we have not went through each one of the previous chakras, and cleansed certain parts of those or healed certain aspects of those chakras. Once we get to the throat chakra, that throat chakra could be, the color is aqua blue. Let's think about that, aqua blue. That throat chakra is going to vibrate from the area of your root chakra all the way up, okay? So our subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind is going to roll off of our mouths, off of our tongue. So you very well could be speaking and not being authentic, all right? This is out of balance. You literally can be self-sabotaging yourself with what you're saying, all right? The depth of your words would have nothing. You would have no depth in your words. So you ever met a person that's actually talking and saying a whole lot, but you can't quite grab what are you saying again? That particular part. And of course, things like lying, dishonesty, that sort of thing. Social anxiety, that's another one. When a person's out of balance and they haven't truly went in and done some inner work, they can have social anxiety. Not like it's a bad thing, but of course, if you can't express yourself, then how can you actually communicate or have good communications? All right. However, the other side of that, though, that throat chakra, is you coming in and you're speaking with a healthy speech, being able to decree a thing to be so. That's because you've been doing some inner work, honey. That it just doesn't come just from you not doing anything. You're able to manifest, all right? And you're able to speak without judgment, which oftentimes does take inner healing. So I do want you to do your throat chakra mudra. We don't want to forget about that. You're going to intertwine the fingers and you're going to touch the thumbs, okay? So now we're above the heart. We're right here. So intertwine those fingers, touch the thumbs. It's a light blue, all right? That's the mudra. I want you to think about what part of the consciousness this is. Is it conscious, unconscious, subconscious, okay? Atypically, we would call the throat chakra, that communication. It is the law of vibration. So you're going to, it makes sense. Think about a singer. Think about absolutely. Think about a singer. Think about somebody, even a man, for the women out there. When he has that low, it's just like, oh goodness, tenor, honey, goodness, his voice, the vibration in his voice. We all send out vibrations, okay? So when you're right there, think about yourself. Interlock those fingers. Mindful of the breath, okay? So we're doing what now? Somebody put it in chat. What are we doing? It's 4 by 8 by 4. 4 by 8 by 4. Prana. 4 by 8 by 4. So you're going to inhale deeply, close the eyes. Allow yourself to sit in that spot. I'm going to lower my tone. I'm going to bring it back down. We're sitting in that spot of the throat chakra, our communication vessel, that law of vibration. Are you speaking in your most or your highest authentic self? Are you moving in that? Are you really operating in that? Are you able to choose your words carefully where they manifest? Or are you in a state of where you're just having social anxiety and can't express yourself? Your words are empty, even to yourself. How are you speaking? Where's that throat chakra? And of course, with that, the throat chakra is I speak. You know, if you're biting on your jawline a lot, you're holding anxiety there. You're anxious. Allow it, relax it. Your tongue, the power of life and death being in the tongue. All these things are correlating. We're moving from one area. So how can you speak about, how can you be pure-hearted in love? And the veil before that, the previous one, that mudra before that, you haven't actually sat with yourself. You don't even have a tolerance for yourself. So how can you move up to your throat chakra and be able to speak with clarity? You move from one veil into the next veil. So right to the next chakra, right? That is I speak. And that is Ham. Okay? H-A-M. All right? So you want to sit in that. Breath, breath, breath. We're going to do it one more time. So 4 by 4 before we move to our last two. I appreciate you so much for actually showing up for yourself, allowing yourself to have an ear to hear, a heart to receive, and a spirit of application. Breath, breath, breath. So you're going to inhale deep for 4, hold for 8, and exhale, release for 4. So, what consciousness is the communication, the throat chakra in? Anybody?
That's unconscious.
Unconscious?
I would say conscious.
Anybody else? Anybody else in the chat?
And while we waiting on them, somebody, I'm not gonna put no names on blast, but somebody throwing some sleazy accusations around, talking about I was asking for myself about about the throat chakra getting people in trouble. I don't know if my throat chakra get me in trouble. I think it might get me in some situations though. They got me in a situation yesterday in the stove, but I was able to, you know, channel Obatala and get all that calmed down. But we calmed it all down.
Saying some stuff. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but they throwing them sleazy accusations around. I ain't gonna mention no names out there. I ain't gonna
It does come into the area of some people talk too much.
Oh,
some
yeah,
people,
yeah.
No, some people really talk too much. And you're just like, why are you talking? Because it's not in balance. And they got to get it out. Because the previous chakras have been inundated with so much information and it hasn't gone anywhere. It's no different than detoxing. So this level, you definitely have to be able to allow yourself to move through it. Okay, so I think you're gonna enjoy this one. So you think it's conscious, right?
Yeah, I would say conscious, because I only say that it's divine alignment because we just had a presentation on this last night, I believe, with the 7 chakras. But but I'm only speaking off of my own personal experience though, in regards to how I move. So, you know, I feel like it's all perspective depending on
atypically unconscious. People don't be thinking about what they say.
That part.
They just start flapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
They start flapping their mouth off and just, oh, I didn't mean that. That's
Yeah.
not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Usually it's
Yeah.
the unconscious state. You just start talking because you know how to talk.
Yeah. And
So
that's
most
happened
definitely.
before where I blurted something out because I was thinking it, and before my conscious mind could put a pause or pump the brakes on it, it came out. But the context in which we was talking about it in the private community last night, or I think it was last night, is that I used to have a challenge because one of the parts that we were speaking about was avoidance, in regards to
Okay,
avoiding
yes.
difficult conversations because of, how you're moving through the throat chakra. So for me, one of
Yep.
mine used to be like when someone, for example, let's just use a barber, for example, if they mess up on your lineup or your beard or something, like I used to get mad, and to the point where years ago I wouldn't say anything, and it wasn't because I couldn't
Mhm.
and didn't want to say nothing, it was because
Yes.
I wanted to speak with something other than my mouth, which
Yes.
is not the way to do it. You know what I mean? And that goes back to not having control of, of your emotions, and that's letting your energy go in motion. So it's like now I
Exactly.
could do it, but it's because I'm playing out the conversation in my mind, and like whatever that response that I get from them, I give myself 7, 8 different scenarios of what they might possibly say, and they
Exactly.
prepare myself
That's
so
your
that way
human
I can respond
design
and
too,
keep
though.
control without, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely divine alignment into something we've been sharing and speaking about amongst the tribe and the Patreon community for sure.
Ashe. So
Mhm.
we have two more. So the sixth one, we want to go right into our third eye. Some people call it the first eye. All right. So you're going to go ahead and do that mudra. So interlock the fingers and keep the middle finger in. Interlock them. Go ahead. Okay. So you're going to do that third eye. And with our third eye, it's a dark blue. Okay. That's like an indigo color. And so you're going to inhale deeply. Throat being too much. Okay, so we're going to inhale deeply. Okay, we're at the third eye. This is the mudra. Okay, and this is all about, I like this one personally. I absolutely love this one because this is all about sight. This is definitely about sight. Um, and I, it's, what do we call it? The law of I can't even say it now. Mentalism. Okay, this is like that it's the mental part. Okay, so we want to go ahead now. Remember, we're gonna breathe first before before we go into this one. So go ahead, do the mudra. Okay, do that mudra. Close the eyes really deeply. Picture the color of navy blue. Inhale deeply. Hold for 4, or inhale for 4. Pardon. Inhale for 4. Hold for 8, and exhale for 4. This is all about having strong intuition, okay? Having the wisdom, your clarity, clear focus, having self-awareness, all right? This is you cleansing and going from one veil to the next, cleaning it through. You're working every aspect of you. The Kundalini is up. You're heightened, right? This is you tapping into the knowledge of self. You are attracted to nature. You love listening to nature because it's outside of thyself, but it's connected to self. You're very empathic. Now, of course, the opposite, out of balance, would be the complete opposite. Okay, you're not in nowhere enjoying nature. Okay, you could care less about the self awareness. You just want to move how you deem appropriate. There's no clarity. All right. So falling back on the throat chakra, everything that comes out of your mouth, there's no clarity there. So how can you resonate in it? All right. Now, this is also the part of you that when you're doing this, your mudra, you want to go ahead because this is about your pineal gland, your third eye, first eye. You're going to inhale deeply and you're going to place that mudra right at the head. Okay, right here at the head, right in the center. Inhale deeply, picturing the color blue, allowing yourself to resonate in that spot. Ask yourself the true intentional questions. Am I seated there? All right? Am I seated with clarity? Am I allowing myself to have that vision and wisdom? Am I attracted to those things that are natural in nature? Or am I in a state of excess, too much energy, having what I would call, false sense of fantasy, illusions, the depth of not being able to hear or see thyself. So having a diluted type of intuition, you're in la la land. And oftentimes la la land is supposed to be wonderful. But if you have no clarity, if you haven't cleared those areas from your root chakra, dealing with the things from your sacred chakra, releasing the trauma that you've been holding, being able to stand in your solar plex with being in purpose no matter what's happening, so your willpower, having the heart to be able to love first yourself, then how can you speak from your throat and then have clarity to have your, what I call, your foresight, your hindsight, and your prophetic sight? Take it in again. I'll say nothing. Where is your mental state? And are you truly resonating in it? And is it servicing your highest good? The sounding that would come from your voice is aum, aum, aum. It's AUM. And you're going to speak that as loud as you can. Allow all of the breath, and you're going to move through it. Now, of course, this body, this area is, of course, the forehead, the pineal gland, and it's all about I see. So what is it you see? Do you see yourself in your total divinity? Last but not least, and I want to make note that as we looked at Orisha, and Orisha was vibrating with that root chakra, and I am now in the crown, okay? I'm at the crown, so we're at the purple. We're in that purple, okay? Staying mindful of your breath. I do need to ask anyone in the chat before I go to purple, is it in our subconscious, conscious, or unconscious mind? What do you think? Where's our sight at? Tell us in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's two. It's in our collective consciousness and in our subconscious. Just think about it. Our sight we see outwardly. We have to be disciplined enough to see inwardly. All right? So we move from one veil, and the depth of it, remember, the veil before that, the throat chakra, the veil before that is the throat chakra, okay? And the throat chakra, we speak life, all right? So whatever we're speaking, that is also what we're going to see, all right? So it deals with the collective consciousness as well, because we're looking out and we can see everything else that is happening. The subconscious, because we close our eyes and we go to slumber, we astral travel, we do all this. But look at how one connects to the other. Once you get to the state where you are dealing with your third eye, Your third eye is connected to all of the ones before it. And what is the other chakra that binds together with the third eye? Meaning, if we're talking about a dream state. Anybody take a guess? Which one that is a chakra beneath us, beneath the third eye, that is lower, connects with it? Like, because we're talking about subconscious. Yes, we're talking about the subconscious. Most definitely. Which chakra do you believe connects to it? Because remember, I spoke about the third eye being your foresight, being your hindsight, being your sight, period. You're going to have strong intuition, or you're not going to have strong intuition. You're going to be able to be attracted to nature, or you're not going to be attracted to nature. You're going to have self-awareness, or you're not. The biggest one it connects to, I'm going to go ahead and say it, is our sacral chakra. That's where we hold all of our emotional intelligence. So most people, if you think about people that really are, they can dream, they're able to enter and overstand their dreams. Some maybe just dream and it's just there, honey. I haven't worked that far, depending on the person and their process. The sacral chakra and connecting here, when it's not cleared, it's not healed, you're going to attach everybody that you've slept with, anything that you've dealt with, any pain or trauma, your sight line is connected to that. So remember, all of our different veils or our different chakras, as we've gone through them, they're either attached to our conscious, subconscious, or unconscious mind. So this is one you want to definitely clear in time. You need to clear that. It oftentimes helps. So certain people will do ashwanda, they do all these extra things. If it helps you, honey, it helps you. But then you have to, if you start right here, you have what do they call it? Decalcify. You have to definitely clear this up for you even to see beneath there. Okay? To go beyond the veil. And you're going beyond the veil this way. So take heed when you're doing your mudra. You're right here. Center focus. Mindful of the breath, be open and honest with yourself, and write down that which you see of yourself. So you can have that foresight, that hindsight, and that would give you that prophetic sight for you to move. So you can say, I see. And you literally can see whether you have your eyes closed or open. I see. Our last one is our crown. And as I said before, Orisha was resonating in the root chakra, cleared and healed. Now we're coming all the way up to the crown chakra, and our crown chakra is all about us being revealed. What is being revealed in our life? This is the law of gender, okay? So our law of gender is what? We all resonate with a male and female principle in us. So clarity. So now you can literally pay attention to what's happening in the world. First yourself, then externally. You have people that are out of balance. There's so much men are resonating more some men, I shouldn't say all, sorry. Some men are resonating in that feminine and the masculine's off. Some women are vibrating more in their masculine and their feminine is off. So the crown chakra, when we're talking about the crown chakra, we're talking about that awakened state. All right. We're talking about that awakened state. Most definitely, it must be decalcified, our pineal gland. So now we're right here. Okay. We're at the crown. So we take all those fingers, fold them in. We're going to do that mudra. Touch those pinkies together. Mindful of the breath. This is right here at our crown. All right. We're going to touch it together. That is the royal color, that purple. I'm vibrating in that purple, that amethyst, that's so on and so forth, that purple. But the depth of that is you need to be able to enter and understand that you're crowned. This is where everything comes out of as well. So we have the kundalini that's coming out of our back, but it spirals up and it goes out the top of the head. When you're doing Reiki, when you're doing any type of energy work, that sort of thing, or you're doing scaring, mirror work, which I definitely go into a lot, you need to cover the head. These are different things that once you're in certain states, this is what you want to enter and understand about the veils that lie within you. So you're walking around as a casing, a spiritual being, having a human experience. All of that is right here. So when you have a balanced crown, of course, we're talking about somebody that enter and understands both principles, appreciates both sides of themselves. So the male and the female side, and most often all of us have had an area where we've had to balance them out. And usually where the trauma is trapped is in our our sacred chakra. All right. Our solar plex covers it up because that's usually the willpower. Just tap back into everything that we said. It covers it. All right. That's the mudra. It covers our sacred chakra. Our sacred chakra is holding on to all of that instability, unbalance. So we have to release that. When we're able to release those things, all these different veils open up to the highest veil of all. You can unveil thyself. All right. You can uncover yourself. So you're able to have that emotional intelligence, able to do your self-healed reflection. You're able to be empathetic, or more empathetic to other people, because you've also allowed yourself to go through your own bullshit and you've owned it and you're willing to discuss it. So you have it's one of those things. For instance, my twin boy, he ascended. Okay. And people, pastors and just people that were supposed to be of what the world would look at as, authority in the spiritual realm. They were looking at me like, how is it you're able to speak about all of this? And you're crying. You're not crying so much. You're not. They were amazed because I was able to release. Okay, I'm able to release, but also release in joy. I didn't have to bawl out. I did all that already. It's not like I didn't do it, but I moved past the point of just crying for the person. You've lost the person, and technically you didn't lose them. My inner and overstanding, because I started to heal each part of my chakra, which is each part of myself. I allow the veil to be removed. It's like peeling the onion, allow all of that to be exposed so you actually can move to the next part of you. The element of the crown is the air. It's the very thing that we breathe, that we can't see. It is Om. O-M. Om. Om. All right? This is the area where your senses deepen. It is the inner knowing. I know. The inner knowing. Take yourself in your breath. This is deeper now. So we're going to go 8 by 8 by 8. Prana. Inhale deeply for 8. Inhale. You should be squeezing right now at your chest. Cross over. Hold for 8. Exhale for 8. Slow and easy as much as you can. Mudra. Breath, breath, breath. Sit and sup here. This is your crown. Now we're going to inhale. Do our prana. Focus on the color purple. Close the eyes. Sit and sup with yourself. Ask the self, am I in balance? Do I have a respect for my masculine and my feminine side? Do I appreciate both sides of the principles? Am I able to admire them, respect them, affirm them, guide them even in correction? Have I healed from the wounds of each one of those divinities? Because somebody has maybe hurt you that were more in a masculine energy or more in a feminine energy. You have to sit with that. Ashe, beloved. Sit with that. Breathe with that. Take your time with it. It's the air quality. It's something you breathe, you have every day. And with that being said, of course, the imbalance is you not having, being able to be in a conscious state of mind. You're having confusion. You're irritated often, that sort of thing. I wanted to speak about the more, what I would call the elevated way of operating, and from your crown chakra. Oftentimes you do have to cover that crown chakra, okay? But we're unveiling so we can see ourselves fully in our totality, owning it. And once you've healed in that area, that's when the bride happens. What I call the bridal area, where the female and the male principles that are dwelling within you are balanced in harmony. So they're able to sit and sup. You're able to sit and balance the self. You're able to stand and balance the self. So you're standing on your square, you're being seated on your throne, and you're ruling from here. Ashe, divines. Last breath work. So we're going to inhale for 8. I know that was tight. You didn't even have to say it. I know it was tight. Unless you've been doing breath work for a while. That's tight. Inhale for 8. Ready? Inhale deep. Hold it for 8. Exhale, release for 8. Whew, honey. One more time. I think y'all got it in it. Put bells in the chat. Put the bells in the chat, beloveds. Last one. You're in that purple, that crown chakra. Inhale, inhale. Ready? For 8. From the core. Inhale. Hold it for 8. Exhale, release for 8. Ashe, divines. Now, what consciousness is this? It's the awakened one. You're absolutely awakened. And you're able to move through your whole totality, move and operate in your divinity. You know, I know when I need to use a little bit of that masculine, and I know when I need to resonate more in my feminine. I got to balance. I know when to shift. I know how to speak myself into something. So as Orisha said, the Ashe streets been speaking. Honey, I know how to speak and decree myself into something. And I know how to hold my tongue, because it can be a weapon, whether it be on myself or on someone else. I can move and hold what garners and grows completely in my sacral chakra, because I allowed myself to move through the violations, the mistrust. I'm able to self-promote myself in my solar plex because my willpower says persevere. I'm able to hold the heart chakra and know that I am loved because I first loved myself. These are our veils that are absolutely invisible. We walk through them and operate in them every day, just like we breathe. We have to take ownership of them, owning our whole totality. So as above, so below. As within, so without. Allow that to be the source of your life. And I promise you, your obedience will see you through. Ashe Divines, I'm trusting that it serviced your highest good. All divine gratitude.
Ashe, yo. And somebody put that right on time. Princess Malkia 333.
Ashe
Appreciate
Divine.
it. Yeah, man. Nah, that was dope. And the tribe definitely concurs and agrees with it. For sure. So I definitely appreciate you and going through the veils and the chakras, as well as the divine, alignment with like I said, everything that's going on. It's definitely divine, man. So I'm grateful for us having this call tonight, and then all the divine alignment in regards to the veils, because it's a lot. And I know we got to get ready to go, but before we get out of here though, there was a few things that we spoke about on the private community call last week when you came to visit us in Patreon. And one of the things that, well, we spoke about a lot, but one of the topics that I want to just get maybe some closing thoughts with you on in regards to a lot of people having experiences with is the portals. That was a topic of conversation when you came in last week. So when it comes to portals, and I feel like a lot of different people are having experiences with this because a lot of us are elevating in regards to our frequencies, especially the people who are doing the inner work, and those who already have gifts, the gift to see with the mind's eye. How would you recommend anyone who's listening now, who's doing the work, doing the inner work, who's meditating, who, is doing all the things that we need to do to vibrate at the highest level possible, in the current state that we're in? How would you recommend helping someone who hasn't had the access or had the ability to see through the mind's eye to like be able to access portals, or even access the skill of astral projecting when it comes to being able to utilize the mind's eye, the pineal gland, etc., when it comes to working up the chakras from the root through the crown, in the spiritual elevation or evolution that we're going through right now?
Okay. First and foremost, I would ask that they know how to meditate. You said they're doing the work. What work are they doing? Because there's so much. Work is so vast.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say the meditation state first.
Okay.
Because, of course, like if you're working, like we just discussed, somebody maybe need to work more on their solar plex, or somebody else may need to work on their heart chakra. Okay, but they're going about it in different ways. Maybe you give, or maybe, you know what I mean, you're just focusing on studying more, that sort of thing. Each person, though, still has to tap back into source, because there is a vibration that we give off based on us being happy, or I shouldn't even say happy, but happy is fleeting. Joyous, excited, in fear, all of that still works within our breath work. I would say breath work. That is the biggest thing. Because I also teach about mirror work and scouring, sitting in front of the mirror, causing these sort of things. I atypically lead people from their breath work into their mudras. Okay, working more with your mudras, because you're just connecting energy. So you get used to connecting your energy. You get used to actually feeling your energy and being able to how we call this, identify that particular state that you're in. So I for myself, if I'm feeling a certain way, I know exactly where I'm feeling it at, because I'm sensitive to my body. Like, okay, wait a minute, this I'm fully in my solar plex right now. I don't know where. Okay, wait a minute, let me sit with myself. If I'm dreaming a lot, I know right now I'm here. I'm in my crown chakra. So it's first and foremost your awareness of self, and you have to be able to breathe. It's just key. The depth. I said 4x4 by 4, 4x8 by 4, 8x8 by 8. You can go deeper. Okay. Us being able to center the self would be the biggest things, because once you start walking through portals, this is the other part. I tell people oftentimes, I've had people I do it and they want to jump ahead. And I'm just like, okay, you got free will. Go ahead and jump ahead. trying to work and just get to the end result. Oh, I want to, turn the mirrors black like you be doing. And I'm like, baby, you better do some work here first, because certain things not in line, like you work to get yourself in balance. Most definitely. I always say to people, we walk out our perfection. We are the walking altar. We have to balance the self. That's both principles. Okay. That's the crown. That's both principles operating. This person said to me, okay, well, I want to go ahead and jump ahead, and I want to be able to see through the mirrors and all that other stuff. And I was like, okay, baby, but first, how's your solar plex? How's your sacral chakra? How's your sacral chakra, baby? You got issues? Have you told the person, why I'm going to tell that person, I forgive them, baby? You forgiving that person is not for them, it's for you. How you going to see? Because you're going to end up pulling up that person's identity, that person's energy. So walking through a portal, you got to be able to identify the portal you done walk through. People are like, oh, how are you able to see that? Well, it's because first and foremost, I allow myself to first be humbled. Most people want to jump ahead, and I didn't just, okay, well, I'm going to call myself Empress right about now. I'm going to call myself the Priestess, right? If you lost your everlasting man, I was trying to run from that stuff, but I realized I can't run from my gift. But the depth of it, you got a gift. You have to walk through the gift. So if you're trying to jump ahead, the cart before the horse, I know most of us have heard that, the cart before the horse. You want to make sure that you tap in first with your divinity. You better tap into your divinity. And the biggest part of your divinity is your breath. If you can't sit still long enough to breathe and just channel and focus, no, baby, you need some help there first. Start there first. Okay? And people that have had smoking addictions and different things, these are some of the same techniques. Do something else with your hands, but start your breath work. All of it starts with our breath. Once you start to walk through the portals, okay, that is work. Because the biggest thing is most people don't identify the portals that are when they walk around in waking life. Like they're not sensitive enough to it. I literally can walk down certain areas and feel, oh shit, I done shifted into the other. And most people associate that with going into a bad neighborhood. No, baby. There can be some pretty looking neighborhoods that just, ooh, that's gorgeous. You walk in and oh, hell no. These people are no.
Yeah.
So it's being sensitive. And the first thing I had to learn was my breath. I had to tap into the breath, because you'll start walking through a portal, you'll start getting a panic attack. Scared, people scared, literally scared. Oh, there's nothing there, but you're having a panic attack because you haven't sat in such a peaceful state in all blackness and being at a point where you resonate with it, that you enjoy it. Everybody's used to hearing music all the time. That's why I said music without words. They're used to having music all the time, people talking all the time, bumping horns, silence, like real silence. That's the type of thing you need to be able to establish within self before you walk through a portal. Because you want to be able to hear. In a portal, it's black. First, you don't see with your natural eye. You see with your ears. Then it travels in the vibration with your body. So, hello, what we said, the veils, you'll feel something over here and you'll be like, oh shit, what the hell? The heart. And then because you're sensitive, if you feel something in the heart, then you see, oh, I'm in a certain place, because your eyes is closed. I'm in a certain place. Ooh. Immediately you're going to interpret that. Okay, wherever I'm at, the people here are in fear. Wherever I'm at, because you don't see it yet. You don't see that first. You feel, you smell. Those senses are the ones that vibrate with you first. Then if you start seeing people like scouring and walking through portals, you'll see some faces and different things that you just be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Wow, this ain't a scary movie. I'm not.
Yeah. That's
So
real.
I would say the breath, baby. You got to go first with the breath and be honest with yourself. Okay, really. Like
Yeah.
I definitely am honest with myself. Yes. I don't want to put my hands on you.
Yeah.
I used to throw them hands, and I still can throw hands, but no.
Yeah.
I'd rather just sit here in that little space and speak to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to appear in your dreams, baby. I will hunt you that way. That's really walking through portals.
Listen. Look. I'm gonna share this in closing because
Okay.
I said I was gonna wait when I started to bring it up last week when you came into the living room with the with the private community, but look and I'm gonna double down too, but I'm gonna stand on business all the way through with this one because we just finished having a call with another yay who shared a supernatural experience in regards to a experience she had with Ogun. Right.
Okay.
So for those who don't know the power of the Orisha and might think that it's a game or that, you know what I'm saying, it's just for talk, but it's not the case. Trust and
I
believe
love
that.
when they show up.
Yeah. So she
Love when they
shared her
show up.
experience. And for those who was on the call, y'all heard the experience, but I'm gonna share the experience I had, and then and then I'm gonna close out with my brother, man, the way we started out with and give him the opportunity for the final words for tonight. But I remember one time, boy, I had messed around and went into a neighborhood, and I'm not gonna mention no names of whose neighborhood it was, but I saw a big ass tree laying on its side in a parking lot. I'm like, God damn, boy, what the hell? I ain't know nothing about no storms that hit town recently, but I went I went inside the parking lot. And I was like, dang, man, boy, I don't know what. I thought, I had came through and swept that tree over, knocked it over or something. But anywho, somebody I know I'm glad they don't throw hands no more. If they did throw hands, because they down here knocking trees down. I was like, man, listen, I don't know what the hell you got going on, but yeah, you just miss me with that. I don't want none of it. Not yesterday, not today, not tomorrow. I don't want none of that, because folks out here knocking down trees, and I saw this with my own eyes. So I'm just gonna leave that there for those who think it's a game. For those who think it's a game,
don't worry about it touching them with their hands. I'll show you another way.
Listen, so all I'm gonna say is this: you got to be careful who you're running up on, boy, because some folks is really with the ish. So it's 11:11, ain't that something? So yeah, I say all that to say, man, it was another phenomenal conversation. Appreciate you. Give gratitude and thanks for coming through, dropping the jewels. But y'all, I'm not playing. That was a real story. That really happened. I seen it with my own eyes. I'm not playing, like for real. So yeah, you gotta be careful who you run. I don't know who it was. I'm not mentioning no names, but and normally I will snitch depending on the circumstances, but I'm not getting tangled up in none of that because, like I said, not yesterday, today, or tomorrow. So I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm just gonna sit it there like Santa under the Christmas tree. I'm gonna leave it right there. Yeah. So anywho, but yeah. So I'll just say that I appreciate you again. Another phenomenal conversation, tribe. I appreciate all the love, the support, the likes, shares, everything. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, Patreon, and we will definitely be back on the channel expeditiously, family. But in closing, I want to give another uplifting and 21 gun salute to my brother who transitioned into the realm of the ancestors this past Friday, man. So I'm gonna let him give us our closing words for tonight, and gratitude and honor for my brother. So let's see. All right.
All divine gratitude, most definitely.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go.
Peace and love. And this whole message is about trust the process. If you're not getting tested in your process and in your journey, you ain't working hard on yourself. And I ain't trying to shoot shots, but you're going to get tested on your journey to see where you really at. I got tested the other day, and I'm processing it. And I'm realizing that the more I stress myself, the more I get tested. Love self, trust your Ori, that godly voice that you subscribe to on the regular. And just know that things gonna flow your way as long as you keep doing you. And knowing that the test is the process and how you react. So just flow how you need to flow. and listen to that godly self. Peace.
With that, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, definitely a 777. He's
Yeah.
resonating such a 777. Ashe, divine. Yeah, he was sitting at that crossroad. He made a decision, most definitely.
Yep.
Made a decision. Babies have it. The
Yeah.
children have it.
Oh yeah. Oh, and they got it. And trust and believe, I'm gonna continue the legacy and make sure that they're gonna get everything that they would have got when he was here. So I'm gonna hold my brother up and salute him. 21 guns, saluting my brother. And so with that, family, trust the process, and we'll see you all on the next episode. We out, family. Peace.
Ciao.
Rising power to the king. We out, family.
ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́ forsake not your ancestors and praise your.